It's a Bundesliga special video, people. That's right, Gonzo and I, Giz a Claw. We're going to predict the 2025/26 Bundesliga. We're going to go from, well, you'll find out, right? But then we're going to do it in a special way. Anyway, no spoilers. Let's just get in, right? Shout out early for Werder Mike. Oh, that is a spoiler, isn't it? Is it Werder Mike? It's fucking Werder Brian. Even I can't do it right when I'm trying to trick myself.
I think we're going to be competing for a European spot. I truly believe that.
We're going to start right in the fucking middle with Werder Bremen. Just to give you some insight, Werder Bremen finished in 8th. Now, bearing in mind the transfers that have happened so far, so Marvin Dusk, the mighty Dusk, he's just gone to Birmingham City, the Blues, right? So that's one striker gone. Second striker, Oliver Burke, he's gone to Union Berlin. But where are they going to finish? Anyway, more on him later on. Anthony Young, he was a fucking nightmare for us on our football manager save, our brainless in Bremen. He's gone to Freiburg. Issa Kabore, he was only ever on loan from Man City. Derek Köln, he's gone. I didn't know he was on loan from Galatasaray. That's fascinating. David Kawasaki, the old Polish motorbike, he's gone back to Hertha Berlin. And Andre Silva's just gone out. Where's he gone? He's gone to Elche. He's gone somewhere in Spain. Anyway, we think with all that said, like we said, last season, they did go on that amazing run at sort of when was that? That must have been sort of February, March time. They were the form team in the Bundesliga. I think they won 4 in a row. We were unbeaten in 6. Yeah, we're on a good run. Although without those key players, and they haven't really made any significant signings, have they? In fact, who's just come in? Samuel Mbangula. That wasn't an attempt at a voice. Don't put me on a blog post next to Bob Marley, the Taft Man 10. Don't put me next to him. Anyway, even though he's a fucking good guy. They have brought in a guy from Dirty Leeds of the Midlands, because we're establishing that now as the international sign for the Midlands, right? It's not North, it's not South, it's Midlands. They brought in Maximilian Werber. That's a strange one, but anyway, Isaac Hansen Aaron, he's a fucking baller as well on Football Manager 24, and Oliver Man, he's come in permanently. Oh no, sorry, he's come back from Royal Antwerp. Sorry, we were playing with him on FM. Anyway, when all's said and done, Werder Bremen, in our hearts and minds, they're going to finish in 9th. Freiburg, that's right. Last season, Freiburg finished in 5th, and by virtue of doing so, they are in the Europa League. Congratulations to Freiburg. They have been in that competition before. In fact, it feels like they're always in the Europa League. They always seem to be playing West Ham, which is quite interesting. The notable out is Ritsu Doan, and off the top of my dome, I believe last year he was responsible for 16 goal involvements. It was somewhere in that range. I know he'd scored quite a few. I think literally he'd scored 8 and assisted 8. So that's a big loss. And the other one that we like, and it feels like he's a bit of a veteran of the Bundesliga, is Michael Gregoritsch. He's gone out to Brøndby. Where's Brøndby? That's Denmark, isn't it? If it's Norway 5 on the Taft Man 10 community, let me know. I'm pretty sure Brøndby is in Denmark. And then Kylian Sedilia, the guy that scored that fucking awesome overhead kick from a corner against Werder Bremen in a 5-0 thrashing. So they're the significant outs. Coming in then, Cyriacu Ayri from Troyes in France. Don't know much about him. Probably should. It's a German football channel after all. Anthony Young, as we just mentioned, has left Werder Bremen. He's come in to Freiburg. Igor Matanovic is coming from the Adler, from SG, from Frankfurt. And 2 lads that are coming from St. Pauli. Philip Treu, I believe he's a defender, and Noah Weishaupt, who was on loan last year for St. Pauli, but he's come back. So with all that in mind, and again, don't forget, they are competing in the Europa League. We feel that's a big distraction. Look last year, by the way. Look at what happened with Hoffenheim. Of course, from the season before, Hoffenheim were played in the Europa... Was it the Conference League? Yeah, I believe they were in the... Hang on a minute, I've got that... No, sorry. Heidenheim were in the Conference League. Hoffenheim were in the Europa League, and it was a distraction, right? They brought in Christian Ilzer. Anyway, we're jumping around, but yeah, there's a sad premonition that competition could be a burden on the squad. We'll have to see who else Julian Schuster brings in, because of course we are recording this video middle towards the end of August. The temperature's dropped, by the way, but I'm still wearing this fucking gorgeous tricot, Deutschland, that my other half bought me. What's the date today, by the way? It's the 20th of August. So the window, the Bundesliga transfer window, in fact, I think it's pretty much the same across Europe. He's open till September 1st, so we'll have to see what else Julian Schuster's going to bring in. Anyway, yeah, we feel that they're going to finish in 8th this season. Mainz, it's Bo Henriksen's Mainz. Last season, they finished in 6th, which was pretty remarkable, really, considering the resources of the club. It's their first time playing in European football, and again, for the point we've just made above about Freiburg, we think that is gonna weigh heavy, right? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. And also massive fucking transfers out as well. Johnny Burkout scored 15 goals last season in the Bundesliga for Mainz. He's gone out to Frankfurt, to SGE, which I guess, yeah, jumping around again, they need to replace a key striker, but we'll comment on them later on in the video. Who else has gone out? Tom Kraus has gone out on loan to FC Köln. Marco Richter has gone to Darmstadt on loan. More on them later on. And then Hwang Seok Kyung, probably fuck that one up. So again, see that comment section down below, have a giggle and let me know. Again, don't put me on a blog post next to Bob Marley himself, the old Tapman 10. Moritz Jens has gone back to Wolfsburg. That was the end of his loan. Who they brought in then? Casey Boss from Melbourne Victory. That's an Oceania team. Who else is in Oceania? I know it's a different country because Melbourne is Australia, but Auckland City FC, we met Blair, didn't we? Blair Shaw, the EVP, one of the directors of Auckland FC. That was ground hopping around Jamaica as part of the FIFA Club World Cup. They got spanked 10-0 by FC Bayern Munich. We were there at that game in Cincinnati at the TQL Stadion. But in their last group game, fuck me, they pulled off a draw, didn't they? In fact, they were 1-0 up against Boca Juniors. So yeah, congratulations. Anyway, let's move on from Casey Boss and Melbourne Victory. Benedict, ain't no Hollaback, y'all. Benedict Hollaback's coming from Union Berlin. He is a fucking street fighter up front. He will work hard. He will bully, harass, beat up defenders. He'll scratch out some goals as well. He's quite an assist master too. He had a big season last year at Union Berlin. One of the reasons that they're still in the Bundesliga. Sotu Kawasaki's come in on loan from Kyoto Sanga. There is a guy, I'm going to put it on screen because I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but there's a few. There's fucking millions of them. But I mean, there's two really influential people that we follow on X that post about Japanese players' exports around the world where they end up in the different leagues. Tom Kraus, he's come back from his loan at Bochum. They're having a torrid time, aren't they? Sorry, Rise, if you're watching this, from Rise Football Paradise. Konstantin Schopp is coming from Sturm Graz. Got to keep it Sturm Graz, haven't you? So they're the significant ins, honestly. Trying to replace Johnny Burkout, who's now he's established himself in the Deutschland squad. He's only really played probably played 90 minutes, I guess. Anyway, it's a massive fucking hole they've got to fill. So yeah, with that, we feel that Mainz are gonna end up in 10th. Augsburg, right? Now, last season, it felt really good for Augsburg. Again, we only started this channel in February, and we used to cover every single team, every single game, and we did a prediction and then a reaction video after that weekend's match day. And it felt like we really understood Augsburg. In fact, we did a whole video on them. Again, this is the whole point of this channel. It's an English person's interpretation, or it's an English person looking through the lens of the Bundesliga over there in Deutschland, just trying to make sense of it. It felt like last season they were going to make it into the top 6 and therefore play European football, but they fell away, didn't they? They fell away in 24-25, as they did in 23-24. 24. I'm just going to check that, by the way. So in 23-24, yeah, Augsburg finished in 11th. There's a lot of people that have done prediction videos, actually, and we've seen Augsburg just seem to be... They're a bit like Bristol City used to be. Actually, in fact, this is a slight aside. In the EFL Championship, which, of course, we are... They're season ticket holders at Hull City. There's always two teams that I think if you look at the data over the last 10 years, always seem to finish next to each other. It's Bristol City, Preston North End. For us, FC Augsburg are the Bristol City of the Bundesliga. And actually, long may that continue, because that means that you've got stability year in, year out. And who knows, one day you could push for the top 6. You might even go on a DFB Pokal run, because the money's good, because money begets money, success begets success, and that'll bring in more players. Anyway, last season, actually they were off. Last season they finished in 12th. In terms of transfers, Mergum Berisha, he's gone back to Hoffenheim because he was only on loan. Irving Cardona, he's on the phone. Saint Etienne, because he was on, because he's now gone out permanently. Robert Gumney at the back, he was a defender. He's out of contract, so he's just been let go. Frederick Jensen was out of contract. That's a shame, isn't it? Because Gonzo and when I'm watching Gonzo play Football Manager, he always seems to come up against Augsburg, and Frederick Jensen just seems to be just controls the midfield, takes all the set pieces. Frank Onyeka's gone back to Brentford because he was only on loan. They're a team that's going to struggle, we feel. And Reece Oxford's out of contract. So it seems that Oxford. Hull City have just beaten Oxford, by the way. We were there. 3-2. Last minute goal. Ollie McBurney. Anyway, yeah, it seems like they're having a clear out at Augsburg. Who's come in then? Maximilian Bauer, not Bayer, because he's at Dortmund. Imagine being dyslexic and getting that shirt number on. Sorry. Oh, God. Anyway, Maximilian Bauer's come in from Kaiserslautern because he was out on loan. A lot of people coming in on loan. Robin Fellhauer, he's coming from Elversberg. Remember them last year? They had a push, didn't they? They were a gnat's chuff away from taking Frank Schmidt's Heidenheim to a penalty shootout and potentially going up to the Bundesliga last year, but it didn't happen, did it? Anyway, and they were managed by Stefan
Horse, but it's like a beaver that's saying it.
Horse. That was a meme that was sent to us by Werder Brian. Lasse Gunther, he's come back from Karlsruhe because he was up there on loan. Christian Matsima, he's gone out to Monaco on a permanent basis. Elias Saad, he's come in after being out on loan at Monaco. I suppose, yeah, if you're Monaco, you just brought in Eric Dyer, so you can probably let someone like Chrislin Matsima go. Elias Saad's come in from St. Pauli, and Cedric Zeisinger, he's now on board permanently. He was on loan last season from Wolfsburg. Anyway, yeah, Augsburg, we feel the Bristol City of the Bundesliga, they're going to finish in 11th. Wow, so Mönchengladbach then, formerly managed by Jupp Heynckes. Dishy Danny and I were talking about Jupp Heynckes on a recent collab. Jupp Heynckes, of course, played for Mönchengladbach for BMG. Did manage them twice. Wasn't very successful. Although he's a fucking icon, isn't he? FC Bayern Munich. He is in his 80s and still kicking it. Gladbach again with old Tim Kleindist up front. It's a beautiful team. We're big fans of Mönchengladbach. They've got Rocco Wrights in the middle as like a CDM. They've got Ulrich as a right back. They've got Robin Hack, Instagram friendly. They've got Newhouse. Is it Julian Newhouse? I believe, yeah. So they've got the nucleus of a good team, Mönchengladbach. Last season, again, they were at one point with about 8 games to go. It looked like they were going to break into that top 6 and relive the glory days of the 70s and 80s, but it didn't happen. They fell off and they ended up finishing in 10th. Out of the door then, Thomas Svankara, he's gone to Turkey. He's gone to the Superliga to play on loan for Antalyaspor. Pretty sure that Hull City played them in a pre-season friendly. Ko Itakura, that is a huge loss. He was the rock at the back, Japanese centre-back who scored some wonderful, he's got a headed goal against St. Pauli as a go-ahead goal. I remember that one because it was just the way that the ball, the trajectory of the ball, just floated into the top corner, and then he scored. I think he scored a go-ahead goal against Dortmund in a game that Dortmund ultimately went on to win 3-2. But yeah, he's going to be massive. Stefan Lein has gone out to Red Bull Salzburg. We saw them, didn't we, in the FIFA Club World Cup? FC Salzburg, as we were having to be referred to then. And Alassane Playe, the old Frenchman, the old attacking midfielder, has gone to PSV Eindhoven. That's fascinating. Who's come in then for Mönchengladbach? Just looking at some notable ones. I guess the big one, well, there's three actually. Jens Kastrup's coming from Nuremberg. Striker Shota Machino's coming from one of last year's relegated teams, Holstein Kiel. And then Haris Tabikovic, he's also a striker. He's come in on loan from Hoffenheim. There's a theme, right? I mean, it seems to happen more in Germany, in the Bundesliga, and throughout the Zweite and Dritte Bundesliga. Clubs are quite open to being loaned. I know it happens in every league, right? It happens in the Premier League as well. It seems actually, in fact, yeah, let's sort of make more sense of that. The Premier League is adopting a standard for the Bundesliga and the DFL wide, right? It's happening more and more in the Premier League now that players are going out on loan. In Germany, it just seems to be old hat. Yeah, Haris Tabikovic coming in as a striker from TSG. Hoffenheim, yeah, we still see them finishing in seventh though, which is one place, of course, off the European qualification spots, because again, just as a bit of mansplaining, quick précis on that. Top four go into the Champions League. Fifth place is Europa League. Sixth place is the European Conference League, which of course was won last year by, and we never fucking heard the end of it, did we? By Big Jim. Big Chin? He'll give you a chin. Big Jim up the Chelsea from always buying Chelsea. 12th place then, Wolfsburg, again, a bit like that, Bristol City, Preston North End. Wolfsburg and Augsburg seem to, at least in our minds, finish, in our minds, finish close by. Last season then, Wolfsburg, again, under the Austrian Klopp, Ralph Hasenhüttl. I think I've got it right. First time, yeah, under Big Ralph, the burly Austrian Klopp. He got fired though, didn't he, in the end? I think like with about 3 or 4 games to go, they let him go. At one point though, they were really good at team away from home. In fact, I remember, if I can drag that receipt out, that at one point I did say they should live out of a suitcase. They should play all their games on the road because they're a woeful team at home, much better team away from home. It looked like at one point they were going to break through to the top 6, and it just fell away. In the end, they ended up finishing in 11th place, which historically, yeah, that's kind of where... Well, actually, no, think about it. In the noughties, they won the Bundesliga, DFB Pokal. They were playing Champions League football. They've played in Europa League football before, right? So Wolfsburg are, in theory, a sleeping giant. Let's have a look at their transfers then. So there's a lot of outs. Yeah, too many really to list. I suppose notable one, and he did end up on a fucking blog post, Kevin Behrens. Surprisingly enough, after his comments, which are very woke, and actually, well, we don't do religion, we don't do politics on this channel. We'll not single him out. All we'll say is go and look him up on Ask Jeeves, and it'll be no surprise why Kevin Behrens is out of contract. Sebastian Bonau, he's gone to Leeds of the Midlands. Benedict Borner, nice umlaut above the O. He's gone to Darmstadt. Lucas Nemecha, now there's a big one, right? So Nemecha teaming up with Sebastian Bornau. Leeds, I think, off the top of my dome, Leeds have made at least 8 signings. Anyway, Monday Night Football and the English Premier League. Monday Night Football, not to be confused with American football. Soccer on a Monday night, it's a tradition, especially in England anyway. Monday Night Football, Leeds at home, first home game of the season against Everton. I could spoil it, I could just tell you. Leeds won 1-0. Fucking... Even Cucurella. I was wondering the next day why Cucurella was trending on X, but yeah, it was a handball given, weren't they? Yeah. It's going to be it's going to be 50-50, right? Depending on who you support and how you interpret that referee's decision. Anyway, Lucas Nemecha, brother of Felix, who plays for... Oh, come on, plays for Dortmund. Anyway, he stepped up and converted the penalty and Leeds won that game 1-0. Mads Roslev, he's gone back to Brentford because he was only on loan. And, of course, we've mentioned Cedric Zeisiger. He's gone to Augsburg permanently. A big miss, though. A big fucking miss up front in their attacking football is going to be the little Portuguese man with that cracking moustache, Thiago Tomas, yeah. He's gone to VfB Stuttgart. That's going to be an incredible loss. But I suppose on the plus side, in terms of ins, or at least converting someone on a permanent basis, Mohamed Datsamora, he's come in on a permanent basis now from Union Saint-Gilloise, USG, in Belgium. You can, by the way, just like side note, not a sponsored video, Alan, if you're watching, you can watch some games in the Belgian football, sponsored by Jupiler, which is a beer, which, yeah, brilliant. You can watch some of those games on DAZN. I'm sure Dirty John will be happy because, of course, he works for DAZN. Who else is coming? Maurice Jens is back from Mainz. Jesper Lindström, what a baller he is. He was at Napoli. He's come in on loan. I guess Dennis Favreau, he's made his loan permanent. He was a defender. He'll kick anyone, right? He'll kick anyone as long as he wins that ball. Jakub Zelensky's coming from Legia Warsaw. He sounds like he's going to be a winger. And Vinny Souza. Vinny Souza's come in, defender, bit of a brick shithouse from Sheffield United. So yeah, if you put all that together, then I still think Wolfsburg will finish in 12th. It's good that they've got Mohamed Amoura there on a permanent basis, but they're going to miss the goal contributions from Thiago Tomas. Right, sticking with the second, or the lower half of the table, I should say. 13th, Union Berlin. Last year, because of those goals from Benedict, ain't no Harlebat, yeah, who's sadly he's gone out the door, and did we say he was at Werder Bremen? Yeah, he's at Werder Bremen. Union Berlin finished in 13th last year, and we've got them down as finishing 13th once again. Right, significant people that have gone out then. Robin Gosens, he's gone out permanently now to Fiorentina. Of course, he was in Julian Nagelsmann's squad when we went to the UEFA Nations League, didn't we? We went to the semi-final against Portugal in the Allianz. Again, still getting goosebumps from hearing 60,000 people sing along to Deutschland Lied. I think that's how you pronounce it, the German national anthem. You can go and check out our video if you want. I'm just trying to catch up here. Robin Gosens, Benedict Hollerbach, Kevin Vogt, he's gone to Bochum, and then a shout out to Kevin Volland, who's gone out to 1860 Munich. The last two were permanent transfers. Union Berlin, then they've brought in Oliver Burke from Werder Bremen. Werder Brian doesn't like that, and his Discord's pretty lively with discontent. Paul Jackelt, the day of the Jackal. The day of the Jackal, he's come in on loan from Eintracht Braunschweig. They seem to knock us out of the DFB Pokal a lot on FM 24 when we do our saves. Who else has come in here then? Matteo Raab from Hamburg, and Eli Anser from Paderborn. More on Paderborn later on. Oh, of course, yeah, sorry, Wu Ying Jiang is coming permanently. Well, he's made his loan move permanently. He was on loan from VfB Stuttgart. Yeah, I mean, how many goals did they actually score last year? 35? They're not many, but still it was 7 more than St. Pauli. And they couldn't, so minus 16 goal difference last year under the management of, where's that baseball cap, doesn't he? Forgotten all the names. I'm rusty. I'll put it up on the screen. Anyway, we've got them down as finishing in 13th. And then stick it again with that second half of the table. Newcomers, FC Köln. Congratulations, welcome back. Last time that FC Köln were in the Bundesliga was the same year that I was going to say that, well, it was the year that Bayern Munich didn't win it, basically. Yeah, Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen went on that incredible unbeaten run, didn't they, in the Bundesliga? It was at the heart of that midfield. Away the lads, Granit Xhaka, who's now at Sunderland. Once upon a time of Arsenal, when he Gonzo, that's right. Yeah, that year when Leverkusen went unbeaten and finished on 90 points. FC Bayern finished in third, didn't they? Stuttgart second with 73. Who went down that year? FC Köln. So FC Köln are now back. Yeah, FC Köln, by the way, they finished in 17th. So that must have been... That was the same summer that my friend, God bless him, Martin and I, he's a diehard Leeds of the Midlands fan. Yeah, we met these two lads that were FC Köln fans on a boat doing a river cruise, drinking beer. I was fucking struggling. I was hanging from the night before and all that Jameson's. Anyway, yeah, that season, 23-24, FC Köln went down with only 27 points. Darmstadt, though, had 17, which... That isn't the lowest. Off the top of my head, I think the lowest is actually 15. I'll put it up on the screen. Anyway, welcome back. Welcome back, Cole. I suppose out the door's not that interesting because we don't really know. Although, funny enough, Anthony Rachopi was a keeper that Hull City had on loan, didn't we? We bought him from Basel and then put him out on loan straight away, so I don't quite know where Rachopi's going to end up, to be honest. So they have got a guy that's retired, Mark Earth. That's interesting. Anyway, in a Football Manager attempt at a rebuild to try and retain their position in the Bundesliga and build from seasons going forward, who've they brought in? Let's have a look. Radner Ache from Kaiserslautern. That's a team with incredible history, by the way. Rasmus Carstensen, Lech Poznan back in on loan. A lot of loan players, as you can see, that have come back. Not surprising because now they're in the Bundesliga. Who's transferred out? Right, Ray van der Berg from Middlesbrough. Any Borough fans out there? If you know him, let me know in the comment section down below what we can expect of Ray van der Berg. Ron Robert Zieler is coming from Hanover. And Tom Kraus coming on loan from Mainz. There's a guy that gets around for a young man. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys that we don't really know. Christopher Lund from Palermo. Yeah, that name does ring a bell. Anyway, we think there's enough in that squad to stay in the Bundesliga. Yeah, again, we've not seen him for a year. Now they're back. Well, we haven't seen them because we only started this channel in February, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see them. Of course, this week there is a major international video games conference. Industry meets the public, meets the fan base. Yeah, that's going off at the minute in Köln. We're here in Hull because, of course, this is now our full-time obsession. But we have been close to the ground, but not quite. I haven't got any footage for you, basically. I'm sorry. I'll have to work on that. Anyway, FC Köln back after a year's hiatus. And they've come up with Hamburger Sportsverein, right? Hamburg. They're back. They're back after a 7-year absence. And if I check, the last time that Hamburg were in the Bundesliga was in 2017-18. Bayern Munich won the title that year with 84 points. Schalke were in second. Believe it or not, FC Schalke, I'm sure Kieran Carlin would enjoy that one. Yeah, Schalke was second with 63 points. That was a fascinating year, 27-28. Hoffenheim in third with 55. Dortmund in fourth with 55 points. Leverkusen all the way down in fifth with 55. That was an incredible year. Anyway, yeah, that was the year that FC Köln went down along with Hamburg. And yeah, wow, that's interesting, right? That's it. Anyway, they've gone down. They've yo-yoed themselves back up. Nicholas Capaldo, Red Bull Salzburg, he's coming on a permanent basis. Daniel Peretz, of course, the goalkeeper, our thoughts and prayers are with him because he's had a tough time in his personal life with his family. Daniel Peretz, season-long loan from FC Bayern. Yusuf Poulsen, the evergreen strikers, come in on a permanent basis from RB Leipzig. Nikolai Renberg, he's tattooed to fucking. He's coming from last year's relegated teams, Holstein Kiel. Jordan Torunariga from Ghent in Belgium, and Ryan Felipe, not the actor. Ryan Felipe is coming from Eintracht Braunschweig. Again, that team that always seems to beat us in the DFB Pokal. So we think, I guess, between the two sides that have come up, FC Köln, Hamburg, there's enough to keep them there in the Bundesliga for another season at the very least. Now we're starting to lift our skirt a little bit, aren't we? Give you a reveal as to how we feel the top half of the table is going to look. So we've got an entrant there, number 6. VF Bau, Stuttgart. Stuttgart last season, of course, finished in 9th. They played in the German DAS Super Cup final, didn't they? In honour of the late Franz Beckenbauer, who passed away last year in February 2024. That final was hosted by Stuttgart in the Nacker Stadion. We've been there, haven't we? Because we always reference that guy with that amazing chest tattoo, that VF Bau Stuttgart tattoo on his chest. Nick Voldemade plays for Stuttgart, of course, but for how long? That's the question that everyone's asking themselves. Also in that VF Bau Stuttgart team, Dennis Undav, of Brighton Hove Albion in the Premier League, along with Jamie Llewellyn. All three of those people I just mentioned are now, they're in the Deutschland squad. They're in Jamie Nagelsmann's squad for Deutschland, for the national team. What's happening in terms of transfers to bolster that squad from last season? We can have a look at who's gone out. Jakob Brun Larsen's gone out. He's gone to Burnley on a permanent basis because, of course, Burnley under Scott Parker-Ball, once managed by the big brain one Vincent Kompany, they are a yo-yo team, right? They've gone up and down like a bride's nightie. Burnley back in the Premier League. And Jakob Brun Larsen's agent's gone, we should get you over there, son. Henry Chase has gone out to Red Bull Salzburg on a permanent basis. Woo Young Jong gone to Union Berlin, again on a permanent basis. Luca Pfeiffer, we used to enjoy his name. Luca Pfeiffer has gone to Elversberg. Horst, formerly managed by Stefan Horsch, who of course is the new Werder Bremen manager. Dennis Seaman, wow. He's a keeper, by the way, a goalkeeper that on FM24, bring him in young, send him out on loan, train him up, watch him develop. He'll be the ultimate shot stopper. But I always think, how old is this guy? Because his name comes up forever. That's because he was a former wonder kid on Football Manager. Significant inward-bound player to VF Bau Stuttgart. We did cover this in the preview to the DAS German Super Cup the other day. Kima Andras coming from Real Madrid as an attacking midfielder. Lorenz Assignon, he is from the Ivory Coast, which apparently is the self-proclaimed world capital of perfume. Noah Darvic is coming from Barcelona, big future. Lazar Jovanovic, he's the guy with the big hair that I was trying to quote before. Tim Culler, young lad, he's only ever played 40 games for RB Leipzig, FC Leipzig's reserve team. So he's clearly one that someone's got a bright future ahead of him. And then another that's coming from Red Star, it'll be them steroids. Red Star Belgrade is Silas. But the big one, the biggie, didn't see much of him. Mind you, I don't remember a lot from the other night because we did a watch along and we drank a lot. We drank a lot of that. That's to scale, by the way. That's not a wee Allen sized bottle. We went through a lot of that. It's Thiago Tomash. We just mentioned him, right? An assist meister and did contribute a lot of goals out of his own right last year for Wolfsburg. He's come in to Stuttgart. We think they're going to finish top 6 this year because, of course, last year, as mentioned, they did finish in 9th. They did, however, win the DFB Pokal, beating Arminia Bielefeld in the final. Yeah, let's have a look, because that means they're going to then be playing Conference League football, right? Yeah, but it could be Europa League. Anyway, they're in Europe. So Sebastian Hoeneß is doing the right thing by bringing in reinforcements, building that squad out. And this screen's just going to put a bow on how we see the season playing out in terms of those relegation teams and those teams that are going to come up. Yes, teams that are dropping out of little icon there, the man upside down. The teams that are dropping out of the Bundesliga and the teams that are coming up from the Zweite Bundesliga, from the second Liga. So again, so we're all clear. FC Heidenheim and TSG Hoffenheim, they're going to finish in 18th and 17th place respectively, which means automatic relegation. And St. Pauli, by virtue of just not scoring, even though they are miserly at the back, they don't score enough, and that's not a way to operate a successful, sustainable, long-term football team. Yeah, St. Pauli are going to come up against SV Darmstadt in the relegation playoff game, and Darmstadt are going to upset the odds. All that I was just dribbling on about the last 5 years, this relegation playoff game favours the Bundesliga side. Well, Darmstadt are going to come along and rip that up. They have been, though, in the Bundesliga before. Yes, in the 2016 season, they were in the Bundesliga, but they did finish last place, and they've been in the second Bundesliga up until 2003-04, where they came back again. Yes, so we have seen SV Darmstadt again in that season that we're talking about now. It was quite incredible, right? Because of course Bayer Leverkusen went undefeated. They were an invincible team. Incredible because FC Bayern finished down in third. And then also that season, Bochum went down with FC Köln, and FC Darmstadt were bottom. FC Darmstadt conceded 86 goals, 6 more than Holstein Kiel did last season. However, we can see FC Darmstadt coming up, and FC Schalke. Schalke, again, just incredibly, only, 7 years ago, were in the Bundesliga, and where's it gone? They finished in second, right? In the 2017/18 seasons, FC Schalke finished in second, ahead of some big hitters like Dortmund, like Leverkusen, Stuttgart, Frankfurt, Mönchengladbach. Yeah, Schalke then, they're going to go up from the Zweite Bundesliga as champions, along with, and this has thrown a few people out when we've commented on other people's prediction videos, SC Paderborn. That's right, SC Paderborn have never been in the Bundesliga. The highest they've ever been is 4th. That was last season, by the way. Yeah, last season they just missed out because, of course, SV Elversberg, SC Elversberg, horse, just like doing it, horse. They snuck in and stole that third place playoff game, which, yeah, we just covered all that. They were beaten by Heidenheim. Anyway, that's how we see the relegations and the promotions from the Zweite Bundesliga playing out. Now that means then, building up towards a climax, how's the table going to look? How's the European places going to end up? Well, we've already identified that Stuttgart are going to finish in 6th. Leipzig, although I should say, I thought about all this before Benjamin Sesko was transferred out to Manchester United in the EPL and the Premier League. So, but do you know what? We're here now. We may as well follow through with it. Last year, of course, Leipzig missed out completely on all European football by finishing in 7th. And again, it was Louis Openda, Šeško and Xavi Simons, David Raum with all those fucking tattoos as a left back, and Riddle Baku, L. Ron Hubbard, the father of Scientology, is our favourite, and the old Riddle Baku on the right wing back. So they're not playing any European football. So if incoming Oli Werner can get it right with no other distractions, we can see them finishing in 5th. Pretty sure that Dishy Danny had them in 5th. Maybe he had them in 6th. I'll have to go back and check. Who's gone out then? So Tim Culler, as we talked about, but he never played a game for the senior team, so that's a bit silly. Anyway, yeah, Tim Culler, centre-back's gone to Stuttgart. Yusuf Poulsen, we've mentioned, the Evergreen striker, the Dane, he's gone to Hamburg. Andre Silva's gone out to Elche. We've already mentioned the big one, which is Benjamin Sesko. I guess the goalkeeper, that's an interesting one. So Janis Blauwijk, he's gone to Bayer Leverkusen. Of course, they've had a bit of a shuffle in the goalkeeper department because Lucas Hrdecki, he's gone out to AS Monaco to join up with Eric Dyer. Mark Flecken's come in from Brentford in the Premier League, and of course, that meant that Brentford signed not Casey Keller. Is it Casey Kelleher? Anyway, Kelleher from Liverpool, the Irish lad that seems to do extremely well in the cup competitions, certainly in Europe. Anyway, he's coming, right? So Leipzig then, who have they brought in? The standout one for us is Johan Bakayoko. He's coming from PSV, attacking midfielder. I think he scored off the top of my dome 12 goals last year and a bunch of assists. Jan Diamande's coming from Leganés. Max Fingraffer's coming from Köln. And Andrea Maximovic is coming from Red Star Belgrade. I feel sorry for Red Star Belgrade. Seems to have been raided a lot by the Bundesliga. Timo Werner. What's happening to Timo Werner? He's the best, isn't he? Asea. Oh, I've got that wrong. Anyway, Timo Werner, what's going on with him? Anyway, with all that aside, we still feel that Leipzig are going to finish in 5th, but who's going to finish above them? Here's the drama. In 4th then, we've got the Leverkusen. We've got Erik ten Hag's Leverkusen, of course. He's had to come in and fucking really apply himself, right? Serial winner though, serial winner at Ajax, two domestic cups from Manchester United, and of course experience of playing the Champions League. He's got a job on though. Significant players that have gone out the door. Frimpong to Liverpool, the big one of course. No, not Lucas Hrdecki. The big one is Florian Wirtz. Big money. And, of course, Jonathan Tah. So, Leverkusen have been raided. So, he's got a big job on. But if anyone can steer that ship back on course, get them back into European football with a view to maybe in 2 or 3 years' time pushing the likes of FC Bayern Munich for the Bundesliga title, the Rekordmeisters, we feel it's Erik ten Hag and Leverkusen. So coming in then, Janis Blauwich is a goalkeeper we've just mentioned. Abdelouis Faye from BK Häcken. Is that Norway? Is that Denmark? Faye? Someone help me out. As we said, Mark Flecken, another goalkeeper, is coming from Brentford. Christian Cofane is coming from Albacete in Spain. Ibrahima Matza from Hertha Berlin. He's an attacking midfielder. Tim Uweman from VfB Bochum. Rise team relegated last year from the Bundesliga. Ernest Poku from AZ Alkmaar in the Dutch league. I'm sure Erik ten Hag has been following him closely because he obviously once managed in the once fucking dominated, once absolutely bossed the Eredivisie with Ajax, didn't he? With 3 titles that should have been 4 if it wasn't for COVID. Joao Quansah is coming from Liverpool. Liverpool struggling. I mean, they won their opening game of the season. Only just though, right? Only just 3-2 over Bournemouth. Another team that's been fucking decimated. Certainly the defenders, because fucking Liverpool well, Liverpool bought one of them, anyway, in Kirkez. Alex Tape's coming from PSG. And Malik Tillman. Now, at time of recording, I did see an X message pop up from a guy that we've been following on X. Portuguese lad, I think, off the top of my head. Joga Bonito. Yeah, he did say he was going to do an analysis of Malik Tillman because, of course, our guy Jota, I think he's Portuguese, but Malik Tillman, of course, is American. He plays for the USA men's national team. So I'll be interested to see how this analysis plays out. And then Issy Traore, he's coming in January because he's currently playing for Jaliba. I don't know where that is. That sounds Latin American. So yeah, a genuine football manager save in the hands of Erik ten Hag. We feel like he could finish in 4th and get them into the Champions League, which means there's 3 teams to go, people. This will be the crucial one. Oh, and Dortmund, look at that. We've got the BFB. We've got Dortmund at that yellow and black brick wall in the Westfalenstadion. We've got them coming in 3rd. Yeah, that's right. Niko Kovac's team coming in 3rd. Transfers out of the door. But what's going to happen to him really? Kane Chukwuemeka is gone. Is he gone back to Chelsea? Is he going to be there? They're in a strange place, aren't they, Dortmund? Especially if you go onto X and just type it in. There's a few notable voices. I'll try and put some of the dissent. Anyway, they narrowly went through 1-0 in their DFB Pokal opening game. But of course, Jans Kuta suffered a quite fucking visible and most likely physically painful injury. I'm surprised that guy only got a yellow card for it. Anyway, yeah, Dortmund in a strange period of transition, despite the fact they're in the Champions League again by virtue of finishing fourth. And Niko Kovac put on an 8-game unbeaten streak to finish last year's season. In fact, there was 7 wins, 1 draw. That draw came in the Klassiker against FC Bayern Munich, a game in which they were leading, by the way. Suleiman Koulibaly's gone out to Racing Strasbourg. Strasbourg, managed by former Hull City manager Liam Rosenevier. Jamie Gittens to Big Jim up the Chelsea. Sebastian Haller, that happened in the last 24 hours. He's gone out to Utrecht on a permanent basis. Josef Makoka, he's gone to Copenhagen on a permanent basis. Again, another lad that seems to be a wonder kid in FM, but just has not lived up to the hype in real life. And then we love this one, Kjell Vashen. Pretty confident that's right. Kjell Vashen, he's gone to Bochum on loan. Now, incoming, we knew about Job Bellingham, didn't we? Because we saw him play in the FIFA Club World Cup against the absolutely ferocious Palmeiras team. What a great bunch of fans they've got. Jan Kuta, we've mentioned, is permanent. He joined permanently from Manchester City, but he might be out for the rest of the season following that fucking horrific injury. And Daniel Svensson joined on a permanent basis. We covered that in a different video. That was last season. He's come in on a permanent basis from Nordsjælland. Yeah, that's about right. And the other one is Patrick Drews coming from Bochum. Bochum getting absolutely raided along with Elversberg. And who's the other one? Well, there's a few, right? Freiburg and Wolfsburg. But anyway, yeah, we feel there's enough in there to keep Dortmund. They'll go on a really good Champions League run. We're not doing that prediction today. But yeah, there you go. There's Dortmund. So it all comes down to these last 2 places. Who's going to win the Bundesliga outright? And of course, we not only want to keep Dishy Danny on side, right, but it's the truth. I guess we're not only closet Arsenal fans, we've become closet SGE fans. And it's just unfortunate that the shit I'm waiting for from DH-gate it's got Ekatike on the back, which, you know, I thought he was going to stay. Anyway, he's not. He's gone, hasn't he? That's a bit of a shame. What did he score last? Was it 20? We've covered this a million times. I'm sure it was 23 goal involvements. It was definitely 15 goals that he scored, personal goals, quoting Sheila from... What Greek island was that? Oh, I was getting this fucking wrong. Anyway, why did you mention it, Craig? Why have you fucking tied yourself in a knot there? Anyway, who else has gone out? Kevin Trapp's gone to Paris FC. Again, another Red Bull sponsored team. I can see them being a major force in League 1 and the Champions League football in years to come. Yeah, Hugo Ekitike has gone to Liverpool, hasn't he, really, for a lot of money. Was it 85? Going up to 90 million euro? I mean, he scored on his debut after 4 minutes in the Community Shield against Crystal Palace. All right, he was subbed off, so you can't blame him for bottling his penalty, because that responsibility went to McAllister in the end. One of 3 brothers, by the way, 3 Irish Argentinians that you don't get many for a euro. Now, coming in then, Paxton Ariston's come back on a permanent basis from his loan from Utrecht. They have got not Peter and Love, but Love Ahoff, who's coming in more. He'll be joining in January because he's playing... He must be in Norway then. Bromma-Pojkana. That's where he's coming from. Elias Baum, back from Elversberg because he was on loan last year. Johnny Burkow, that's the fucking big signing, isn't it? Jonathan Burkow, 15 goals in the Bundesliga last season. Now in the Deutschlandia, in Julian Nagelsmann's mind for a Deutschland regular place up front. And Ritsu Doan. Yeah, Freiburg are going to miss Ritsu Doan. He's coming in, the Japanese attacking midfielder / winger. He likes to supply goals, and I guess it wouldn't be us if we didn't call out the Gypsy, which is Rasmus Christiansen. He's going to make a permanent home, apparently, in Frankfurt. Yeah, permanent loan from Leeds of the Midlands. So last year, by the way, then Frankfurt finished in third. We feel they're going to go one place. Can I get a higher? They're going to go one place higher this year and finish in second. Also playing in the Champions League again. That draw hasn't been made, but the draw must be soon because it's August 20th today. So it's got to be in the next week or so. They're going to make the draw for that newly revamped money grabbing format. And of course then, I'll put it on the screen if you haven't figured it out already. We feel that FC Bayern Munich are going to win another Meisterschale. So what will that be? 12 in 13 seasons. The only blot on that copybook being 23-24 when Xabi Alonso spoilt the party. Right, transfers out. We know about Adam Asnou, Everton, Premier League on a permanent basis. Kingsley Coman, we did a video on that. He's gone to Al Nassr. What was that? €28 million with a bunch of add-ons on top. Yeah, Kingsley Coman troubled. A lot of injuries, but on his day, fucking frightening the way he can turn defenders inside out and then whip a crossing. He's got quite a fierce shot as well. Eric Dyer, we knew about that months ago. He's gone to AS Monaco in League 1. We've already talked about Arijan Ibrahimovic. Heidenheim, he's gone out there on loan for the season. Nestroy Irankunda, he's gone to Watford. That's a EFL Championship team. Franz Kratzig, yeah, it was confirmed. 3 million transfer out the door to Red Bull Salzburg. João Palhinha's gone to Udemy. He's gone to Jack Spurs on loan for the season. Daniel Peretz, we hope everything works out. Well, it's not, is it really? But yeah, you can go and lock that one up basically. But yeah, tragedy in Daniel Peretz's life. But hopefully on the pitch, he can put that behind him and focus and have a damn good season for Hamburg, because we see Hamburg staying in the Bundesliga. We've got them down as finishing in 15th. It's the heart of the team, right? If you've got a solid defence, which is backed up by a crazy keeper, then you've got more chance of staying in the Bundesliga if you can keep that defence right. As FC St. Pauli proved last season, right? Very miserly team. We still see them going down. But anyway, move along. Matthias Tell has joined Tottenham Hotspur on a permanent basis, teaming up with João Palhinha, giving Jack a couple of players to shout about. And Brian Zaragoza has not gone out on loan to Zaragoza. He's gone out on loan to Celta Vigo. I guess Lovro Zvoniak, he's gone to Grasshopper Zurich on loan, of course. FC Bayern Munich did play and beat them away in Zurich recently in a pre-season friendly. One of the games that inbound transfer. Shall I spoil it? Yeah, you know about it already, right? Luis Diaz, the Colombian, played in that game. The big loss, the big hole in every FC Bayern Munich's life at the minute is, of course, the GOAT himself, Thomas Muller.
Thomas Muller, Raumdeuter, space interpreter. This is farewell. Danke für alles.
He was out of contract. He's since gone, not to FC Cincinnati. Oh, fucking hell, stickers actually stayed up. Anyway, Thomas Muller didn't go to FC Cincinnati, despite the fact they had his discovery rights. It's too complicated for this video. Anyway, he's ended up joining the Whitecaps in Vancouver. FC Cincinnati did get a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a compensation payment. I believe off the top of my dome, that was around about $400,000, which is what, €375,000. Could be high, could be low. Anyway, they went out of pocket. And Muller, if you follow his travel vlog already, he seems to be settling in. He's just a cheeky chappy, isn't he? He's a young look. He seems to be young looking. He's young at heart. He's mischievous. He's going to have a great time out there in the MLS. Now, to wrap us up then, transfers that have come in for Bayern Munich. Not fucking many. We know about Tom Bischoff because that was sort of declared in January. We saw him play a few minutes in the FIFA Club World Cup. He's since played a few more minutes in pre-season friendlies. Tom Bischoff's coming from Hoffenheim. We knew about Jonathan Tah coming coming in from Bayer Leverkusen. Again, we saw him play in every single game at the FIFA Club World Cup. Jury's out on whether or not he's got what it takes. He's waiting for... Oh, sorry, I should say the other way around. Min Jae Kim's waiting for his opportunity because, of course, Jonathan Tah seems to be permanently at the back with Dayat, beautiful name, by the way, Upamecano. And the other big one, and we've already hinted at it, is Luis Diaz. The Colombian left winger joined from Liverpool for €75 million. It's going to go up and up and up depending upon performances. Yeah. Now, he has scored already. He did score the other day. He did, well, in his debut, he played 45 minutes, won the penalty, which Michael Olise ultimately converted. That was in a 2-1 win against Olympique Lyonnais. Olympique Lyonnais. And then in the Super Cup final, which FC Bayern Munich won by virtue of 2-1 against Nick Voldemar Stuttgart, Luis Diaz scored one of the goals. And there's that great photo of him licking his lips, looking at the Das German Super Cup, and put your easy headline there. He's got the hunger to win more. Anyway, that is our entire table from top to bottom. But of course, we started in the middle to make it funky. Hopefully, we built up enough drama to keep you excited. Yeah, we see Heidenheim, Hoffenheim and St. Pauli going down. We see the top 6 shaping up as VfB Stuttgart, RB Leipzig, Eric Ten Hag's rebuild FM style, football manager style, Leverkusen finishing in 4th, Dortmund under Niko Kovac in 3rd, Eintracht Frankfurt, the Eagles, SGE under Dino Topmuller, by the way, who was, again, mansplaining, or just for those that are curious, he was an assistant to Julian Nagelsmann. How fascinating is that? Anyway, and the winners are going to be FC Bayern Munich. Again, their 12th Meisterschale in 13 seasons. What do you think of that then, people? All you FC Bayern Munich fans, I'm looking out, especially other content creators like Liam of the Bayern View, Dishy Danny of Always Bayern Chelsea, and anybody else that wants to comment, any fans in general. What do you think? What's your thoughts on our predictions? And as ever, if you've got this far in the video, fucking hell, well done, because it's a long one. We've done our best to edit, haven't we, Gonzo? We've tried to cut it down the best we can, but we do talk a lot. That will be the autism. And again, if you haven't got this far, thank you very much from the bottom of our tiny crumpled hearts, Gonzo and I are extremely grateful for the support you give us with the constant views and the comments. We recently did break the 150 subscriber mark. At time of recording, we're on 152 subscribers. The Bundesliga season obviously starts on Friday. Freitag, SC Bayern Munich are playing RB Leipzig. That's an evening kickoff game. It's the first game of the 25-26 season, which we see FC Bayern winning outright. So yeah, please, as ever again, like and subscribe. You know the drill. Double pivot. 1 to smash the like. 2nd, hit the subscribe button. And 3rd, when you're out and about and in with a shout, spread the word, people. Let people know about Das German Football Spotlight channel. We're building a community. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Ideally, we get to 200 soon. You got us to 150. We are deeply grateful. We're humbled. It keeps us honest every single day because we've got to come up with new ideas. Anyway, enjoy this video, this prediction video. And we're going now. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao, ciao. We'll have to drink some more of this this Maz Orange d'Or, as in the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, we'll have to drink Lionel Messi's drink. We've got a video on that. Go and check it out. Ciao, 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 ciao.